guess let's like watch like a little bit. I don't want to watch the whole thing. This is like really, really long right now, but I do want to see some of the parts of it.
I started a silent call. Mizu taught me that, and that's all I do. Hello there.
Let's see.
How
Like
right,
all right, here, let's just get
I do
right, let's go to this one.
No, I think for small if you have a community, you should make sure that your community because I'm a very big believer in the small communities and then paying attention to the big wide conglomerate, which is the government.
Yeah,
I do believe that you should gatekeep your communities and keep them close and safe, which is what I try to do all the time. I try and make sure that people understand who I am all the time. The problem, because you say people should list their stances, and you say that trans rights shouldn't be a political issue. I think the problem is that
it is a
both
political
sides
issue.
have made it a very political issue. I think at the very least here in America, because I don't pay attention to worldwide politics because it's not America. I don't care about it.
yeah.
Same.
But I know at least in America, the Democrats have especially made it a gigantic political issue. And because they've made it such a big political issue, the people on the right are going to make it a big political issue as well. And so I feel like saying that you don't want something to be political, that's a very nice sentiment to have. Because I would like for human rights to not be a thing to toy against people with. Because again, hater of big politics here, all right? I don't like politics whatsoever, but the people at the top make it.
I would start with like what rights are basically.
Kind of forced to make it one.
Like, what does that even mean?
It's actually like the other way, because like Republicans have spent just so much money, so many funds on like pushing this idea of like trans, like being anti-trans, and
So the thing,
they
I do hold up real quick.
Like,
I do gotta push back a little bit on this, because the thing is, the thing that started the whole anti-trans thing in the first place was basically pushback. It was pushback after all of the overreach, basically. People didn't really care before. I mean again, like you had people vote for vote for gay marriage, like that became legal. People didn't really care about this kind of stuff as long as like there was like a process involved in it. And what happened is when all of the restrictions around it were removed is when people started to go wild and out with it, and that's when people had a little bit of pushback. Once it was like, okay, so people were generally like okay with just LGBT stuff in general. I know we're mostly talking about the T here, but people were okay with LGBT stuff in general. The things that really changed it were the we're gonna do this stuff in schools, like we're gonna talk about it in schools. We're gonna talk about it in schools, and we're going to have this in like women's spaces, like locker rooms, sports, and I think that was like too far. I actually think that the real issue here wasn't even really locker rooms, and it was specifically like performance in sports and things that have to do with children. Like those two issues really brought it like up front, and everyone was like, "Yo, this is too far." And I mean, let me just I just want to get I know this is kind of anecdotal, but I mean, how do you feel about it, chat? Like if this is you, type 1 in chat. But hear the whole thing. Hear the whole thing first. You didn't really care about this stuff until the sports stuff, and then the kids stuff. And then once those two things happened, you were like, yeah, fuck this. How many of you guys that was you? Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, look how many people have this issue, right? And the thing is there's gonna be people that were against it. Like, there were gonna be people that were against it anyway, and there are gonna be people likewise that were for it anyway. There's gonna be people against it no matter what, and there's gonna be people that are for it no matter what, right? I'm not really that concerned with that. What I'm concerned with is the middle ground, right? Because the middle ground is like where the laws, that's where the laws happen, right? And so you can see the shift in culture from the middle ground, going like, yo, wait, this is like way too far. This is affecting me. This is affecting people I know. This is crazy. And we don't want it, right? And that's kind of where the turntables turned, right? It was at that moment. And that's where all the negative sentiment came from. So this isn't an issue of like Republicans were like, yo, let's like put a fuck ton of money into saying fuck trans people. That's not what happened. What happened was it was actually kind of the opposite. It was the actual it was the trans activists on the Democrat side that actually pushed it so hard that people were like, whoa, what the fuck? And then that's what made people say, you know what, I'm not cool with this anymore, right? Yeah, and by the way, that's not just straight people, by the way. That's also other gay people, other LGBT people. We're also like, what the fuck? Like, I don't agree with this like community shit anymore, right? And that's what I mean is this didn't start with people just saying, you know what, today's the day. Fuck them trans people. That's literally not what happened. And like it's just crazy to like kind of see it in the other way. I mean, it's just cope basically. Like it's basically not it's completely divorced from reality of what happened.
Abortion rights, segregation, all these cultural things gets people motivated in order to vote, and they basically blow that out of proportion. Where the Democrats were like, oh, we just ignore that, we don't make our stance clear. Like Kamala didn't talk about trans rights at all. So like it's actually false to say that like the Democrats were the reason this is like such a huge thing. Conservatives just threw shit at the wall and the trans issue stuck. So, like
I mean, like analyze,
just ignore that, we don't make out of gets people motivated in order to vote, and they basically blow that up. They did that back then with like the abortion rights.
Hold on, wait, let me just
money,
I'm
so
lost,
many funds.
One.
I was thinking too much
big
about
politics here, all right? I don't like politics whatsoever, but the people at the top make it a political issue to the point where
like Republicans have spent
Okay, here we go.
Just so much money, so many funds.
Forgive me, I ADD'd a
on
bit.
like pushing this idea of like trans, like being anti-trans, and
We talked about that.
they did that back then with like the abortion rights.
Wait, what does that have to do? Wait, what? Whoa.
Segregation.
That's not even the same thing. Wait, what? Abortion rights not the same thing as trans stuff at all. Wait, what's going on? Hold on, I'm confused.
Then with like and they did that back then, trans, and they did that back then with like the abortion rights.
Nothing to do with it.
Segregation, all these
what?
Cultural things gets people motivated in order to vote, and they basically blow that out of proportion.
No. So it literally wasn't, guys. It literally wasn't blown out of proportion because it's literally what happened, right? And the thing is everybody like, okay, people have eyes and ears, and they're able to perceive things, reality on their own, right? And people saw these things happen. People saw the swimming thing with like the college swimming, where a trans person who like wasn't good at all, by the way, before transition, and then they transition and suddenly they're like the best by like a lot. And then you have a lot of these cases of trans sports, trans people joining sports and just like basically winning, like out of nowhere, really, right? And you have that happen, and then you have the whole thing with there being cases of teachers at schools basically having like kids say like, oh, I think I'm trans, and then the counselors and stuff kind of working it out with the kids behind the parents' back. Like there's so many cases of this stuff happening. Another thing is like and this isn't really a trans thing, but it's kind of like tangential to like the entire like thing, is like drag queen story hour. People are like, what the fuck? Like, why are we doing this? And then you have drag shows for kids, and like it's just people see these things because they're happening. And then people are like, what the fuck is this, right? And because we live in a world that's like more global, like it's so much easier to see all this footage that comes out from these things. And people just don't like kids being, people do not like it when kids are being involved in anything that's sexually related. And that's just kind of how it is, basically. People don't want that. You know, whatever you want to say about it, people consider that to be that's a social taboo. And when you keep pushing that kind of stuff, it's like people just don't want anything to do with it. And then you're trying to tie it in with, like, you know, you're trying to tie it in with like the trans movement, and it's like the whole fucking thing is corrupted, basically, right? It's nuclear at that point. What I mean by corrupted is like the, you know, what's the word? The well is poisoned, essentially. Look at the Hippocratic Oath and tell me gender affirming care isn't a violation. I don't know about that. I don't really want to get into the details of that, but basically what I'm trying to say is that everybody saw what happened, and that's the reason why people were against it.
We're like, oh, we just ignore that. We don't make our stance clear. Like, Kamala didn't talk about trans rights at all. So, like, it's actually false to say that, like, the Democrats were the reason this is, like, such a huge thing. Conservatives just threw shit at the wall and the trans issue stuck. So, you know, like,
it's 100% overreach into retaliation. That's really what happened, in my opinion. It was 100% like radical, and again, not all trans people, but the radical wing of the trans movement, basically. Well, essentially the trans movement was taken over by radicals, and those radical people that were pushing their agenda, that's what did it. It wasn't like the Republicans who just woke up one morning.
Musk, he purchased
Elon
Twitter,
Musk?
and he's constantly boosting people who spread misinformation about trans.
What's the misinformation?
About trans people.
We need to talk about
Like,
that.
he has
That
his
specifics on
personal
that.
vendetta because his ex-wife
yeah.
left for a trans
He
woman,
does have a personal
know,
vendetta.
all-
That is true, though. That part is true. Elon Musk does have a personal vendetta against gender ideology because of his, you know, daughter, son, whichever angle you're coming from. Basically, transition due to well, we don't know. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know them. I don't know what's going on in their life. But Elon was against it. I don't know what kind of the situations of it. Like, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not really well versed in Elon Musk family drama, so I don't know where that started. Who said what? Like, who was influenced into what? I don't know. But it is true that Elon Musk has a personal vendetta against trans ideology because of what happened.
It's just throwing shit at the wall, seeing what sticks, and then just like running it down. It's the same with like this anti-woke stuff and pronouns and yelling. And
No,
in reality, it's just like capitalism and
what?
the release.
This is so
of
unfocused.
unfinished
Like,
games,
this argument is like it's so unfocused.
corporate greed. That like
You really gotta like push back here. Like, I think when something like this happens and you're having a conversation with someone and they kind of machine gun their points to you, you really gotta be like, okay, hold up, like, pause. Let's talk about this one thing. This is the one thing that we're going to talk about, and we're going to go down the route, because nothing is ever going to get done. And I mean this like wholeheartedly as a person trying to understand the point of view of the other person. You're never going to get anywhere if you just kind of keep throwing more and more and more onto the pile, because it gets so lost in the sauce that you're not even, everything's unrecognizable. Like, every single argument is unrecognizable. You really have to like narrow that focus down and like and think about one topic and talk about one single topic, so you can really get into the mechanics of it, right?
like ruins games.
Wait, what?
And it's not the
Wait, what?
ability
Wait, what?
ruins game. Corporate greed. That like ruins games.
Okay, I can agree with that.
And it's not the ability to
The
select.
weird thing is I like, is it even really corporate greed? I don't think it is, because they're not even, you know what, actually, now that I think about it, I don't really think it's corporate greed, because like they're not even doing what's in the best interest of like making money for the game. It almost just seems like propaganda. Like, I don't understand, because a lot of the moves that they make don't even make sense. So it's like I don't understand. I don't know if it's corporate greed necessarily. Just some sort of just overly political game companies basically, where their staff, their management structure or whatever, their the people that they hire, their hiring practices, like kind of have them hire people that really need to say something. I think that might be some of the problem. Also,
your pronouns in the starting screen, you know. So
Mm.
it's really exhausting because they are the ones who are louder, and it's so difficult to debunk misinformation when they, just like keep lying and boosting it.
I would say that they are only loud now after a couple of years, because I would say, maybe since the very late Obama, second term Obama, maybe even earlier than that, I'd say that Democrats have been getting louder and louder and louder, because like during the 2010s, moving into the Trump era, and then into the 2020s with Biden. I keep forgetting that man's name because he is so relevant now. Democrats definitely had louder voices. People were getting banned on platforms. And by the way, I should say, again, I don't believe that anybody should be banned, and I believe that no side should be louder than the other. And I think that the tactics of both sides, I abhor to the utmost extent. I don't like it when Republicans are like, oh, all of one thing is bad, and I don't like it when the left says like, oh, all of one thing is good. Because and this is very weird for an autistic person to say here, there is no such thing as all of one thing is good and all of one thing is bad. There is a gray matter in the in between, and I think both sides do a very poor job at finding the in between. And the reason why they do a poor job at it is because that's what gets them the most votes, by being the most inflammatory on one side.
I mean, hold on, let me listen to this again. Just it.
Left says like, oh, all of one thing is good. Because
well, it depends on the thing, but for the most part, for like 99% of things, like sure, yeah.
Very weird for an autistic person to say
Obviously
here.
Outliers,
there is no
but
such
yeah.
thing as all of one thing is good and all of one thing is bad. There is a gray matter in the in between, and I think both sides do a very poor job at finding the in between. And the reason why they do a poor job at it is because that's what gets them the most votes. By being the most inflammatory on one side or the other, you're going to have people that say things that are shitty and wrong, and I would consider utmostly abhorrent. And I treat everything like it should be. Again, coming from an autistic person, I treat everything like everything should be gray, and that everything should be taken as a not one size fits all, because not one size does not fit all, especially when it comes to human beings. And so I would agree that the right has been very inflammatory recently, and there is some issues on the right that I would probably disagree with if they were brought up to me. But I also think that for the past 8 to 12 years, I'm very sick of people calling me a horrible person because I was born white, or that I was born a man, and because I didn't like transition because of my gender dysphoria, I'm a horrible person because I am just a regular dude that is just planning to live. And I think that both sides are regular, and because I didn't like horrible person 8 to 12 years, I'm very sick of people calling me a horrible person because I was born white, or that I was born a man, and because I didn't like transition because of my gender dysphoria, I'm a horrible.
Oh, I didn't even know that actually. So Occo actually has gender dysphoria, but just basically said that they're not going to transition. I see. Interesting.
Person because I am just a regular dude that is just planning to live, and I think that both sides are pretty bad at that, and I think that it's. Unfortunately, it's just going to keep on going. There is no end to that.
I think that's actually like pretty ideal, is that if a person is like, okay, if a person has that, if a person's trans and they're like, I can deal with not excuse me, I can, if a person's trans and like, oh, well, I can deal with not transitioning, I think that's probably an ideal. I think so.
I mean, okay.
So even if again, and we've talked about my stance on it before, even if I do agree with allowing trans people to transition, I think it should be the extreme cases only, in which like it's really like necessary, and that's why it needs to be gate kept basically. So I think Occo's case here is Occo's case here is actually ideal, I think.
To it.
Yeah,
So,
my apologies there.
First of all, I do believe in the paradox of.
Well, the problem with it, right, is like they're gonna be permanent. So if a person's trans, right, and they want to transition. The problem is that never fixes everything, right? Because it's like we've already established that the biology is already, there's nothing you can do about that, right? So you're always going to have that kind of on your shoulder, basically, right? So that's why I think it's best if you accept it, and then if you're able to, and it doesn't, if you're able to, I think that that's an ideal state. I don't think that's for everybody, but I think that that is preferable.
What is the paradox of tolerance? It's like you can't tolerate intolerant behavior because it leads to a world where.
Well, here's the problem. I'll explain the problem here. It's very simple. This is going to be kind of MommaOcco a little bit, right? But the problem is you're going to have to use a little bit of magic, if you will, to basically on yourself. It's like a self Sharingan, basically, right? Like a self genjutsu that basically is like, you were born like, let's just use like, you were born a woman, but you want to be a man. You're going to have to like self genjutsu yourself into being like, okay, well, I am a man now, right? And so like you're in that state, right? But the problem is it doesn't work on other people. So like some of your friends might like join you in that just like to make you happy, but then it's not going to change everybody, right? And the moment that somebody is like, you know what, I'm not buying this. Sorry, I'm just not going to take a part of this. Sorry. It freaking destroys these people. And that's the problem. Is like you literally cannot cast this. You can't cast this Sharingan on literally the entire world, right? So unless you're very grounded in your beliefs of like, you know what, I accept that this is how it's going to be. If you're not that person, you're just going to get fucking destroyed. And that's kind of why I think it's the ideal state that if you can deal with it, that way, like the way that Occo has, then you deal with it that way. And now how to explain it? You're kind of immune to it. Does that make sense? Through your acceptance, you're now immune to like other people saying like, oh, well, you know what, whatever, ma'am. Right. And it's like, it won't affect you basically because you have already like reached a state of acceptance in yourself that like, this is what I'm born as. Like, I want to like live this way. And like, that's fine. I'm going to accept. I understand that people won't accept me for it. Some people won't. My close friends will, but then that doesn't mean like all of society will. Right. And that kind of state of serenity is like what's required. That state of serenity is what's required for like people to be happy that are like this. And that's not a state that even normal ass people with like good lives that like have everything, like they grew up in a rich family, they're fucking set for life. Even those people can't reach that level of serenity for the most part. It's a really rare trait to actually be able to hit that level. And that's kind of what I mean. Bring up the change in cost and the quality after and becomes, well, okay, guys, here's the problem is none of that solves anything. That's like my point is none of that solves anything. If you're talking about like the surgeries and the prices that like insurance and all the costs and all the medicine, it doesn't change anything if you can't change your mental. Do you see my point here? Is no matter what, no matter how much plastic surgery you get, medicine you take, surgeries you get, doesn't matter. All it takes is one person going, well, you know what? Too bad you're a woman. GG, what are you gonna do about it? It's like none of that changes like the fact that people will say that to you. The fact that entire like genjutsu that you casted, it doesn't matter because all it takes is one person to be like, I ain't buying it. Sorry, bro. Or sorry, ma'am, I am buying it. That's all it takes. Right? And like obviously that's not gonna be like your friends. That's gonna be, people in greater society. And this is why you have to have the serenity to be like, okay, you know what? Fair enough. I don't like that you're calling me that. But I sure, like, you're technically correct. You're technically correct that like what I'm doing is an imitation of that, but that's what makes me happy, and that's what makes me happy. So that's why I'm doing it. And if you can't reach that serenity, then you're just fucked. And this is why like you have these. This is why there's always going to be cases of the rates of depression, the rates of self-annihilation or whatever the fuck we want to call it. The reason that they're so high, right, is because all it takes is one person. It just takes one person, right? So even if you were accepted by almost everybody, all it takes is one person that's like, hey, I'm just gonna tell the truth. I'm just gonna tell the truth. You were born a woman, too bad. Too fucking bad. And that's all it takes. And the reason I'm saying this, by the way, it's not because I hate trans people. It's because what I'm saying is this is what you have to do. You have to basically, how the fuck do you expect people to accept you if you're not going to accept yourself? Do you see my point? Like how the fuck are you going to, what? So you have to build that serenity to be like, okay, I accept it. I accept this is something I can't change, but I'm going to change what I can to make to be happy. I'll change what I can to be happy. And again, that requires the wisdom to know the difference between A and B. Anyway, that's my take on it, and that's why all of this stuff happens.
It gives.
I'm sorry to tie it into like the beginning of this like entire thing in the first place. The reason why I think what Occo said is like the ideal solution is because it skips that altogether. It just skips the whole thing. You don't need serenity at that point. You just skip it basically. It's a fucking cheat. You basically just skip it. You say, you know what? I understand I'm like this. Just not gonna do it. I'll just deal with it. And there's some people that can do that. Some people can't do that. Some people can. I think the people that can, it's an ideal situation because you just don't have to worry about it, basically.
The idea that it's okay to be a horrible,
just play a cat girl and just play Final Fantasy. Just be a cat girl. You can be a cat girl in Final Fantasy, or you could play TTRPGs. You can play TTRPG Moraine, and you can play a girl, and then have your gay relationship, with another player character.
Shit, and
nobody cares.
Like if you have a company and you or like let's make it.
So sorry. I know I keep pausing it, but I feel like what I'm saying is really important here, so I'm just gonna pause it again. So the point of like what I'm saying, right, is a person who is like suffering from this, like a trans person, might see what I'm saying and be like, that's fucking awful, Leaflit. Like, wow, you hate trans people, right? The truth is, I'm saying the thing that you need to hear. I'm looking out for you. You think that I'm being an asshole and that I'm trying to fuck with your brain or something like that. I'm trying to mess with you and be intolerant. I'm telling you what you need to hear to survive because I care about you. That's my entire angle. Is I think I care more about trans people than they care about themselves.
Even more obvious, if you have a playground and you have your child on that playground and you see another child bully your child, like, would you say something?
Let me back up now and like listen again. I kind of got taken out of it, right?
First of all, I do believe in the paradox of what is the paradox of tolerance? Where it's like you can't tolerate intolerant behavior because it leads to a world where
you can't tolerate intolerant well, no, you can't tolerate intolerant behavior. Well, I mean, okay, so tolerance, being in the state of, okay, so here's the problem. I see where they're going with this, but the thing is the state of tolerance, the act of being tolerant is not binary. you choose what you're going to be tolerant towards, basically, right? So tolerance is the amount of things that you're tolerant towards, basically, right? It's really all super subjective, to be honest.
It gives people the idea that it's okay to be a horrible,
Tolerance does not equal acceptance.
pieces of shit. And like if you have a company and you, or like, let's make it even more obvious.
Okay.
If you have a playground,
Okay.
and you have your child on that playground, and you see another child bully your child, like, would you say something, or would you be like, oh, that's just freedom of expression, and they're just doing.
I'm sorry, like, what's going on with the child?
Yeah.
If you have a child, and you go with your child on a playground, and another child is bullying your child, would you like say something, try to get them removed because they're making this environment like unsafe, or would you just be like, oh, this is just freedom of?
No, you would basically you tell them to knock it off, basically. Yeah, you tell them to knock it off. You don't have to, like, this isn't like an issue of like you gotta ban the kid from the playground or remove your kid from the playground. You just tell them to knock it off. You say, hey kid, listen, I'm an adult. Stop being a retard. Stop being a retard. Like, I'm an adult. I know better than you. Stop being a retard.
Speech, and that's how the world just works.
What kind of bullying is it? Is it verbal? Is it physical? Or is it just in general?
In general, but let's go with like verbal, or like, I don't know, taking their toys away and stuff like that.
Obviously, I get involved.
Yeah, you get involved.
If I had a parent there, I would definitely get involved.
You get involved. You talk to the other parent.
We can go the extreme example of Reddit stories of entitled parents and entitled child, but like if
you either talk to the parent, and then if they don't have a parent, then you call the cops. You say there's a kid here acting up at the playground. He's like, like whatever, stealing people's stuff, hitting people's stuff. They don't have a parent here, so I don't want to do anything. I don't want to touch the kid, obviously. So we need the police to do it, to take him out of here. No,
if, I would go to the parent,
simple.
and if the parent doesn't do anything, probably leave. Get the police involved. I don't know. It depends on the severity. I don't know.
So
Depends.
And that is kind of like my idea when it comes to like Twitter. If you give people the idea that they can get away with anything if there's no accountability.
No, that's different, because that's not really a property issue. Like the stealing is a property issue. The other thing is like talking, making your kid upset or whatever. I mean, to be honest, you really can't do anything about that. If it's in public, and like, say, like the other person's kid calls your kid a bitch or whatever, and your kid cries about it, and then you tell the mom, you tell the parent or whatever, like, hey, your kid's being an asshole, and then they say, I don't give a fuck. There's really nothing you can do about that, to be honest. Besides, like, I don't know, ostracize them in public or whatever. There's like, be like, I really don't think there's anything you can do about that. Really. I'm trying to think about it. Like, what could you do? Well, it depends. Like, it depends how often it happens. If it's like a one-off thing, then you can't do anything about it. But then if it happens all the time, then it is kind of like, I guess, well, it depends. If they follow you around, right? Like, if you say, okay, like, we're just gonna go to like a different playground or whatever, and then they follow you there, then it's like kind of harassment. But I think if it just happens like one time, like, I don't really think there's anything you can do about it. Twitter is kind of different, because X is X is about discussion. That's what it is, really. It's like social media.
What they are saying, then it creates an unsafe environment for marginalized groups.
Okay.
Because like you sow the seed in people's heads. They're like spreading misinformation, like this,
like what?
This red pill agenda, this like hatred for women, and like oh
no. So that's a common misconception. So like the weird thing is a lot of people who have, okay, this is really complicated, but I'm gonna try to do it as fast as I can. Basically, the whole idea behind the whole thing with women and oh, we think that, you know, unironically, like women need to get into the kitchen, like those kind of people. So the problem is, unhappiness has been increasing in women, like disproportionate to men, actually. And what people are saying the solution is that the things that women are being taught to like and taught to do, they don't actually like. And that's kind of what that's the idea behind it, is that as a society we've been pushing women to do things that they don't naturally like. Um because there is like a kind of, when it comes to the differences in, like, the sexes, there actually are things that women tend to like more, and there's things that men tend to like more. And of course there's outliers, and I'm not saying like you force outliers into whatever, but what they're saying is that society basically as a whole, like as it's developed, feminism has created an environment in which the things that women tend like kind of move towards liking, we have basically told women that if you like that, you're not valid. And so where was I going with this? So what they're saying basically is that they're actually concerned about women's happiness. You just disagree on how to get there, basically, right? Like the argument from like the kind of red pill crowd, the kind of anti-feminist crowd, would be that women are unhappier now because of feminism. That would be like their argument, basically.
Feminism is bad because it's just about...
And that women basically their argument is that women reach long-term happiness by having families, basically, and having a family around them, and that's kind of biologically like beneficial to women. That's their point. It's not like we hate women and we want women, like, this is a common misconception of like, oh, red pill people, like, we hate women, we want to like lock up women in the fucking basement and breed them and make them make us sandwiches. That's not really the argument. The argument is like that the making of the sandwich and the having of the kids is actually what makes women happy. Both can be true. You're retarded, Julio.
But hating women, it's like putting a seed in people's head and then it just grows, and these people are going to, start harassing women. When I play Valorant and I get harassed, and I have people tell me that they wanna, I don't know, physically do stuff to me.
Okay, so I hate to break this to you. I'm gonna lift the veil a bit, okay? Now it's time for me to cast my buffs. Okay, guys? I'm gonna cast my buffs now. They're very powerful buffs, so try to get out of the way. All right, chat. I've been playing games all of my life. I've been playing online games. I started playing online games in Ultima Online. So I don't want to fucking hear it. Okay? First off, buff number 1. Okay? So as a woman who has played games since Ultima Online, let me tell you something about men that play games. Let me women explain to you, okay, a little bit. Men talk like that to everybody. I know it's crazy. I've been in lobbies where I've never talked, and men get in there. You hear a guy talk, he's like, "Shut the fuck up, squeaker. Shut up, bitch. Shut up, N-word." Like they do this all the time. All the fucking time. It doesn't matter what you are. If you speak and you're like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Ooh, they will fucking shit on you for it. Because it's the thing that they can use to shit on you. It doesn't matter what you are. If you use an anime profile pic, they'll shit on you for that. If you use a your name sounds black, they'll shit on you for that. If your name sounds Asian, they'll shit on you for that. If your elo's bad, they'll shit on you for that. If you bought the wrong gun, they'll shit you up. They'll shit on you for that. If you have the wrong peak, they'll shit on you for that. It doesn't matter what it is. They will find some fucking reason. Let me prove it. I have been in games, right, where I would talk and they would shit on the squeaker before me. Because I'll tell you, gamers don't like squeakers, is what I'll say. And I know that for a fact. Even I don't like them sometimes. I like to get in on that too, Get the fuck out of here, Squeaker. It feels good. It feels good, really. I mean, to be honest, and like, you know, especially, you know, as an oppressed woman on the internet, I just, oh man, it feels so good to like get in there and just be like, yeah, shut the fuck up, Squeaker. You know, shut up. Feels good. But anyway, jokes aside, that's how men are. That's how men talk to each other. They shit on each other all the time. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that men. That's how men act to each other. And do you guys remember what I talked about before about how when you're the outlier, when you're the odd one out, you have to like do your best to like in order to be respected in these circles, you have to do your best to not impact too much on like the whatever group that you're in, whatever the norm of that group, right? So if you're like a girl and you go in there and you're like, and they tell you like, I thought you were watching Cats. Shut the fuck up, woman. Like, you suck. Right? And if you go, oh my God, that's like so sexist. Like, oh my God, how could you say that stuff about me? That's like so mean. That's like so misogynist. They're gonna make fun of you more. More. Just like fucking Kylo Ren. More. They're gonna make fun of you more. You just take it. You say, oh, my bad. My bad, dude. Sorry. I'll try to watch it out next time. You just tell me where to go. My bad. Yeah, I fucked up. They will respect you way more if you do that. That's all I'm saying. Is either that or you lean into it. Or you lean into it. You're like, shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. You fucking suck. Look at your score. You're fucking negative. You're trash, bro. Like, you just one or the other. You gotta, like, do your best and not, like, kind of get in there. You don't want to get in there and just, like, fuck shit up or be like, oh my God, you're talking so much shit. It's so mean. Like, they don't want to hear that. That's the culture. That's the culture. And like, you know, like imagine if you will, I mean, how annoyed are you when people come to like your country and they say, you know, this sucks. This country sucks. It's like you move to another country. Oh man, I just moved to America. Fucking sucks here. I moved here illegally, but it sucks here. I fucking hate it here. It's like the worst. Should be more like whatever country I'm from. It's just gonna piss everyone off. Anyway, but the point I'm making is this isn't special. This isn't like a special thing that they're reserving only for you. This is how people act. This is how guys act. This is the gamer culture on the internet. It's been like this since the dawn of the game. Since the first Counter-Strike came out, since Dota, since Ventrilo became a thing. And even before Ventrilo, they typed it in chat. They called you a bitch in chat. And it's always been like this. It's just a culture. It has nothing to do with you. Maybe it does. Maybe you suck at the game and they just don't like you. But really has nothing to do with it. They're going to do that regardless. And if you want the respect, you have to just assimilate, basically. Just like America. If you want to move to America and you want people to accept you, you gotta assimilate. You assimilate, people will respect you. If you come to a new place, you come to a new culture, and you demand that they live how you live, it ain't gonna be pretty.
It's like,
And you take that seriously? Please don't tell me you take that seriously.
I'm not taking it seriously, but it can trigger real life trauma
Okay.
that people have. And I feel like people should have.
So like the thing is people are, so especially in games, people are just trying to relax. They don't care about your trauma. They don't. This isn't you time. This is everyone's time. This has nothing to do with you. Like, they don't care about your trauma, to be honest.
They shouldn't have to.
And guys, I'm just being real. All right, I'm just telling you how it is. Don't hate me, hate the game. That's how it is. That's how people are. People just want to relax. They don't care about you.
Worry about when they play a video.
Go play with your friends. Go play with your 5-stack. If you don't want that experience, then play with your 5-stack. Then you won't have it happen.
Video game to relax.
My suggestion is that it's the internet, and the internet is full of disgusting, nasty people of all different creeds, alignments, genders, and whatever.
The thing is, sorry, I really gotta say this. a lot of the time, all of that internet stuff is just internet stuff. It's not real. Like those people wouldn't say anything. It's kind of like when I play a game and like nobody's, it's just us, right? It's just us. And sometimes this embarrasses me a little bit, and I'll explain why. So sometimes I'll be playing a game, I'll get really hyped up and I'll win a fight. I'll win a really hard fight and I'll be like, yeah, get fucked, bitch, right? I'll be like, yeah, get fucked, bitch. But like, if they could hear me, I wouldn't say that. I'm literally just saying it to myself. You know what I mean? And some people take that a little bit further, and then, you know, they don't really consider other people. They just like say it basically because they're trying to relax. And again, that's like kind of the culture. It doesn't really have any I don't really think it's an indictment of like how they are in real life, basically. The internet is the internet. People say shit all the time. In a different way than you would with people that you know in person, that you're face to face with. They're random people. You'll never see them again, basically. It's kind of like sometimes you're driving, you know, you're driving and then like someone cuts you off and you like call them a bitch. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. You don't roll down your window and like yell at them, but you just like call them a bitch like while you're in your car. It's kind of like that.
Because of that, I am going to expect that the random guy from a Slav nation that hates Americans are going to come in and say horrible, nasty things about me.
Yeah,
and
that's true
if they
too.
do
There
that,
are people like that.
we walk away. I said this multiple times, and I'll say it again for your audience. The moment I turn off my like, if something happens, if I need to step away because something is stressful, something is like a lot for me, the moment I turn off the computer is the moment that situation ends, and I can walk away and be a better person. Because that's how the internet is. The internet is a social sandbox where people of all kinds come together. And I don't care about people.
And like I do want to agree a little bit with Oko here. It is not really, it's not really like a good thing to be like, you know, to call a person a fucking bitch online. Like obviously, like, you know, it's not a great thing, but the internet is like kind of a place where people vent, basically. So it's kind of is what it is, basically, is what I mean. And I just don't think it's the same as doing that in person. Of magnitude. I don't think the magnitude is the same.
End of the day. And do people say things that get on my nerves? Yeah. When I was still Mormon, people said a lot of stupid, shitty stuff about the fact that, and they were a lot of them were also probably Christians as well, saying things about how they thought that my stuff about the fact that, and they were a lot of them were also probably Christians as well, saying things about how they thought that my religion was dumb.
I can hear all of the songs in my head right now.
And that I was going to go to hell because I believed in so many different things about the afterlife. I get off the computer and those people don't exist. And like, if people
the thing is, like, it just doesn't go away.
Magical fuck frog.
For a lot of people, you know.
Frog on his clit face.
it's not like when you trigger my trauma. It just doesn't go away for a lot of people, you know. It's not like when you trigger my trauma and then I just turn off the computer, like my day is still ruined. Oh. And like, why do I have to?
Well, okay, so we're gonna talk again about serenity, which is what I talked about before, right? The serenity, you know, and if you don't, you're not Christian, you can leave out the first part, but I'm gonna say it. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is a serenity issue. You cannot fix other people. If a person decides to call you a bitch, they're going to call you a bitch. If they want to say, shut up, sir, they're going to say, shut up, sir. And you just gotta understand, like, you have no control over that. But what can you control? You can control yourself. You can control your own emotions. You can't control them. And if that's ruining your day, that's something you need to like think about yourself, basically. And I think really probably the biggest thing here is you got to learn to not take yourself so seriously. It's not even growing a spine. It's just don't take yourself so seriously. Like if you hold yourself up to like such a pedestal where you think like you're the greatest thing in the world, then it's going to hurt when people say that you suck. But if you also say that, yeah, you know what, fuck it, yeah, I suck, yeah, sure, man, yeah, you got me, then what they can't say anything. They're gonna be like, Leaflit, you're such a fucking bitch. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? True. Now what are they gonna say about it? Leaflit, you're such a retard. Yeah, I know. It's like, you just don't take yourself so seriously. You're like, why so serious? Just don't be serious, right? It's like you gotta take yourself lightly, and I think a lot of problems in life will be solved for you. You just take it easy.
Remove myself from that situation just because a person is like a horrible
Leaflit is such a Nazi.
person, and they should be allowed to say whatever they want.
I just don't take it seriously.
Like there should be consequences.
I just don't take it seriously. Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't care. I know I'm not a Nazi, so like, all right, fine, whatever. Call me that if you want. Yeah. Yeah.
Answers for it. There should be like some form of moderation.
Well, then mute them. Don't let people talk in like play with the people that you're used to. My problem is like, if it's triggering something in you, then you probably have something that you need to figure out and solve. And as somebody who is a certified life coach that's gone through the training, I know that if there are things that are bothering you, there's things that you probably have to work through and talk through.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, I'm not going to say that I understand or know all of your experiences, but if people are rude to you in chat and that hurts you, you probably need to talk about it with somebody and walk through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe that, like, do I believe that there should be some moderation on the internet? Depends on the situation.
She looked that song up. I went on YouTube and I typed Erica, and I hit enter, and it was the first thing that came up.
But in general, I don't believe in moderation on the internet.
I should have that on a honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I should have that on a soundboard. It'd be a pretty. I should make a soundboard so I could press it. You know what I mean? I gotta have a little soundboard, I think, and just have a bunch of meme shit on there. Yeah, I gotta do that.
Because I don't believe that it can be done fairly or righteously. I think that all people are incapable of doing things correctly and rightly, which is why some things just need to grow a thicker skin or just ignore people. I
gotta do what you can do.
Again, I have people I primarily get people that attack me that are against my podcast, but like I get people on the right sometimes that come in and call me a man, and it's just like like, are you trying to trigger me? Because I don't care. And you have to have that have to have that skin, because if not, you probably just shouldn't be on the internet, because the internet is raw. Because people are going to be raw. I don't know. I don't know if that's making sense or anything, but...
Do you think saying they want to sexually assault you is just words?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people wouldn't say that in real life. And
if it's online,
in real life, a lot of those people would be stupid pussies. And I think that there's a very small minority of people that would actually do that. But if people are giving you death threats, buy a gun. Protect yourself. If people are stupid enough...
I don't think you can in Germany. I don't think you can buy a gun, actually.
To your house, you shoot them.
Can you? Yo, I mean, Germans in chat, can you buy a gun? I don't know.
Sorry, that's a bit of an American thing, but like,
yeah, that's what I thought.
An American thing.
That is like legitimate.
No, it's just
but to be honest, like I don't know, whatever means you can to protect yourself, really. Like I 100% agree. Like death threats is a little too much. I think that's a little bit crossing the line. That should be illegal, I think. In terms of like credible death threats, obviously those should be illegal, I think. So I mean, it's illegal, or you gotta protect yourself, like one or the other. Yeah.
It's
I don't think that's a good thing
to me, because I think that we shouldn't accommodate for shitty people and instead make a safe space for people who
See, but the problem with that, right? The problem with that one is like freedom of speech, because here's the problem is that who is shitty and who is not shitty is like defined by whoever's in power. That's the problem with that. That's the problem with the who's shitty people, right? So who's the one that gets to determine like who's a shitty person and who's not allowed to talk anymore. And this is why America is set up that way, to have freedom of speech, because the founding fathers knew of that fact, that whoever is in control is the one who gets to pick who's the bad people.
Normal.
Make your own safe spaces. That's your community. But if you're stepping into a public space, which is video games, if you're stepping into a thing where people of all kinds are going to come together. You can't expect that the internet will be sanitized for you. Make your own communities.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah, but like the communities have like, or like the companies have like some moderation for a reason.
Well, the companies can
The reason why companies can moderate like however they want, and the reason why they do that is honestly for business reasons. It's because it's less advertiser friendly, and it's annoying to deal with. A lot of controversy that could like be popped up from around that really has nothing to do with like freedom of speech. It's honestly because the companies are huge pussies. That's actually the answer.
Yeah, if the companies want to moderate, they can do that, and if the peoples don't like the moderation, they're
like Elon really kind of is one of the only people that kind of created something sort of special, which is like, yeah, you know, whatever, you can say whatever you want. It's like we're not really going to censor that much, and even then, it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but he is like one of the ones that's like, you know, I don't really want to do that.
It's going to move on, and you know, depending on the people, that could make or break the game. I personally think that if a company wants to avoid issues because of some people in the chat, hey, that's perfectly fine. That's their game. That's why a lot of people don't use voice chat in video games anymore. And if they do, listen, I am a personal believer that using a voice chat in a video game is dumb. All right, that's what I have Discord for, or that's what I have TeamSpeak for, or whatever platform that people don't.
Some people like that experience, though. It's really up to you. But yeah, fair enough. Like if you don't want to use voice chat, then just use your own.
Feel like they're trusting one week or another. I just think that like make your own communities. And if you have
did you guys know that there's a Leaflit Clips channel? If you didn't know that, link on screen, Julio, link on screen, right there, link on screen. Yeah, we have a Clips channel that has like shorter, like under. The reason why is there's like algorithm reasons where the algorithm prefers that you like release videos that are either over 8 minutes or under 8 minutes, and it's like. It's stupid. It's stupid, but it is what it is. That's why we have a Clips channel that has like the videos that are under 8 minutes.
With people that are stupid, just don't engage with them. I don't.
Leaflit
I don't really get the sanitizing other people.
Oh, really? Underwater boat.
When it is something that you have to work through.
Yep. Here's the problem. The problem is you can't literally sanitize everyone. What's easier, chat? What's easier? Stealing yourself and you becoming more powerful? That nothing anyone says affects you? You know what this reminds me of? Funny enough, it was kind of like trans themed, but there's this old anime. This is actually incredible. So there's this old anime. I'm gonna talk about the story because you'll see where I'm going with it. There's this old anime where there's a boy, right? And the boy, he's with his friend, his best friend, at the waterfront. They find a genie. All right. And the genie says, I'll give you any wish that you want. Wish for anything. And the boy says, I wish to become the manliest man of all time. And then what happens is he becomes a girl. And so the entire like show is about him trying to like turn back into a dude by finding the fucking genie and beating the shit out of it. That's like the whole story. Right. So what happens at the end, though, is they finally find a genie, right? It's like the end of like the entire show. They finally find it. It's this old like shoujo anime. You know, it's like old shoujo stuff. So basically, they find the genie at the end, and you know the character's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, fucking fix it. So what happens, by the way, is the entire world changes. So when the main character gets turned into a girl, all of the pictures get changed. The parents like believe, you know, like their entire perception of them changes, and the entire world like basically has shifted itself around this wish, right? Or around the, you know, the monkey's paw version of this wish. The only person that didn't get changed was like the best friend. So the best friend like knew what happened basically, right? So anyway, eventually they find the fucking genie thing, and you know, like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, fucking change me back, right? And the genie says, and this was the ending. The genie goes, so, what do you think is more possible? Do you think it's more possible for me to change the entire world, to make them all believe, like to change you from being a boy into a girl, and then literally change the entire world for you to have, for everyone to believe that was always the case? Or is it easier for me to change you into thinking that that's what happened in the first place? And it was so fucking troll. It was the trollest fucking ending, dude. It was so mindfuck. What a mindfuck ending, right? And this kind of reminds me of like this scenario is what's easier. Is it easier to change literally the entire world to have like a positive perception of you? Or is it easier for you to grow yourself to the point where it doesn't matter what other people say? Do you see the point? What takes less? What is more possible? What takes less energy? What takes less forcing of people? And it's to steel yourself to where what people say doesn't matter. You can't change literally everyone in the whole world. The amount of restrictions, the amount of loss of freedom is immense for that to occur. So that's kind of the point. Anyway, that's my point. Is like you can't fix everything. All it's gonna take is if you were able to sterilize an entire room, you're able to sterilize your family. No one in your family is gonna like make fun of you anymore. Okay, we'll move that up one layer. Now is everyone in the household gonna do that? Is everyone in the city gonna do that? Is everyone on your street gonna do that? Your neighborhood, your city, your state, your country, the world. All it takes is one person to come out of nowhere and be like, there's no laws here. There's no laws here. I can say whatever I want. Fuck you. You fucking suck. You suck and I hate you. I hate everything about you. Everything about you is disgusting. That's all it's gonna take, and it's over. The entire structure that you built, out of straw, it just falls apart instantly. And that's kind of the point that I'm bringing, is like you have to change yourself because it's the only thing you have control over.
It's not that easy to brush off trauma.
Oh, I agree.
It's not. No,
I know.
It's kind of an insane take to basically side with the abusers.
No, I'm not siding with the abusers.
I'm not either.
Basically, just do victim blaming.
No. What it is, it's not siding with the abusers. It's basically a description of reality. Basically, it's taking the situation realistically and thinking like, what is the best solution to it? Right. That's what it is basically.
Like, oh, you're not tough enough to be on the internet. You should remove yourself because you can't handle it.
Yeah, there are some people that definitely should not be on the internet because of how they handle things. Like I think Ethan Klein right now, very good example. That man needs to get the fuck off the internet because he keeps engaging with people that are hurting him and hurting his family. Man needs to get off the internet because he can't emotionally handle it right now. I think that if you're not willing to emotionally handle some of the things that are happening on the internet, you should probably take a break. You should probably get off and examine what's wrong with you so that you can step back and not be bothered by the shitholes of the internet. Because again, Oh, go ahead. My apologies.
No, it's just...
This is going into like the whole Ethan Klein thing.
Because, I don't really want to create a safe space for bigots, I don't want to create a safe space for shitty people. And I don't think the internet should be a safe space for shitty people.
I think that the internet...
They should find their secluded communities where they can be horrible, And
people have. I mean, like, for the last 10...
Yeah, but see, like, then here's the problem is, like, who's deciding that again, right? We go right back to the problem of freedom. And, like, who's deciding that? Who's deciding who's horrible and who's not? Right? Because, like, put it this way. How many people... Okay. Chat. How many of you guys think that this person is worse? How many of you guys think that this person is more horrible than a person that calls a person a bitch or misgenders somebody in a CS:GO game? Who do you think's worse? You think they are? Tiff says I do. Well, there you go. Tiff's German too, by the way. But yeah, there you go. And that's kind of what I mean. It's like, so what if people like you guys are in charge? Then now you get the fuck out of the internet. That's the point. Is I don't want anyone. I don't want literally anybody making that decision. Do you see what I mean? I don't want people being able to make the decision of like, we're just gonna permaban everybody that doesn't have the same beliefs as me, because it's so abusable. It's so obviously abusable. Like, to whoever's in power, and whoever's in power shifts. Tomorrow it's you. And that's why you have to have the foresight to kind of see that, right? The internet self filters. Yeah, well, people do and communities do, and like, you won't be able to stop people in the greater. You won't be able to stop people in the greater internet. But you know, it's kind of like what Occo said. Like, you know, you have your own little groups, right? You have your own friend groups, or like, you know, you don't have to worry about it, right? Like, you know, I have my friends who I know are, you know, I have my friends who I know aren't going to call me a transphobe and a racist. So I hang out with them. You know, you have your little, you have the city walls, right? You got your little home and your little city walls. Sometimes you venture outside of the walls. Sometimes you stay inside the walls because, you know, you just want to hang out and just be chill. And yeah, everyone can do that. And I think that's the ideal situation, really.
20 years they have. I mean, that's what.
Please no, she
and
calls
I'm
me
gonna
a
be honest with you.
racist.
I do believe that there should be people that should make their own communities, but I also believe that sometimes these people just need to be out in the open so that if there are real dangers, because again, I don't believe that words on the internet affect people, because they used to affect me.
No,
they used to
that's
affect
wrong.
me. But then I
That's wrong.
realized just like, okay,
They do affect people. Words on the internet do affect people.
okay. The more that it affects me, the worse they become. Because when you give those people that power, because I recognize this really early in my streaming career, people are willing to say the utmost crazy shit. Why? Because
yeah,
they want a
for sure.
reaction out of you. And you have to decide whether or not it's worth
People are evil.
giving
Evil
that
exists.
person the win, giving that person the reaction that you want. That's why, like, when people talk about like the evil Kiwi farms, that's why you don't pay attention. Because the more you pay attention, the more that they're interested in looking into you and paying attention to you and hurting you. Like, you just have to decide that they are not worth it to keep in your mental space. And if there's something you got to work through, you gotta talk to somebody and work through it.
Yeah, but I don't want Twitter to be TV farms.
Twitter's not
You
Kiwi
know?
farms. Twitter
Yeah,
is.
I'm just saying, but that's kind of where you
got
are
Blue
leading
Sky.
up to,
No, blue sky.
basically.
I
Because
disagree.
you're saying there shouldn't be moderation.
I think illegal speech that is very, very, very specific. Like if you're tweeting CSAM, if you're inciting violence, I don't think that should be allowed. I think that incitements to violence and harming children
Yeah,
should
but
be allowed.
that's basically what Elon is doing by boosting misinformation about trans people.
Okay.
If I tell you, if I tell you that like 10 out of 12 people who are sexual offenders are trans women going into the restroom and doing, like, if you believe that and you see a trans person in real life, you're like, oh, that must be like one of those predators. Like, this is why the hate crimes.
Well. So, like, if you're really worried about that, I mean, like, what can you do? You can control yourself, right? So, if you're worried about that, then you can use a gender-neutral restroom, and then nobody cares. You use like that, or the handicap, the family one. You use that one, and then you don't have to worry about it. Basically, you can control yourself.
Have skyrocketed in like the past decade, and it all started back then with
well, the problem is it's happened, right? It's happened, and I do think that is unfair. It is unfair that the predators of like a community, or they cause shit for everybody. It's kind of like how it is, unfortunately. You gotta gatekeep. You gotta gatekeep the community.
Type shit, you remember that where feminists, etc.
Anyway, I think I'm probably gonna end there for now. I mean, it would be interesting to watch the whole thing, but it is like quite a long video, and I think I've basically said a lot of the things I want to say already about it. So, yeah. Anyway, that's that. That's how I feel about it. You gotta control. You gotta control. You gotta take care of what you can control, like what's within your realm of control. That's what you gotta take care of, and taking care of yourself and increasing your damage resistance is really gonna help out. And that doesn't mean you have to do it alone, by the way. I'm not saying like you alone, like you build all of this damage resistance alone. You build it with other people, with your friends that are gonna be there for you, and that's when you're gonna call in. You're gonna call in your friends to help tank for you. You got a party, right? You don't just have yourself solo. You have a party. And when things happen, you lean on your friends, and that's kind of what you got to do.